We're about to take a look at the pink puffball's first foray into the puzzle genre. This is Kirby's Star Stacker for the Nintendo Game Boy. Released in 1997, some may try to claim that Kirby's actual first puzzle game was Kirby's Avalanche on the Super Nintendo from 1995. However, I will point out to those folks that Avalanche was actually a North American and Europe region reskin of Super Puyo Puyo. Here, with Star Stacker, it's pure and original Kirby, made by his creators, HAL Laboratories. And it became such a hit that an enhanced version was released on the Super Famicom a year later. Sadly, the 16-bit version had only been released in Japan, not playable in the West until 2023, when they added both versions to the Nintendo Online Classics collections. Now, was it worth making a whole new puzzle game featuring Kirby? Let's see how it stacks up. Kirby Star Stacker has 4 different modes you can play, most of which had varying difficulties within them. There was the standard round clear mode, the 2-player versus mode, an infinite gameplay challenge mode, and a shortened time attack mode. There are also menu selections to have the rules explained to you with visuals, and records that show the top 3 challenge and time attack achievements. Already what should look like a simple game has offered a plethora of choices. How the game generally operates is that the playfield consists of star blocks that you have to collect. To do this, you have to sandwich them between matching animal blocks, which are modeled after our friends from Kirby's Dream Land 2, Rick the hamster, Coo the owl, and Kind the fish. Blocks will drop from the top of the screen in pairs at a speed dependent on the difficulty. You use the D-pad to move them left or right, hold down to drop faster if you want, and you can tap up to have the blocks swap. The A and B buttons are used to rotate your falling blocks in a clockwise or counterclockwise direction. There are 6 columns on the field, and if the middle 2 columns touch the top of the screen, it's game over. The outer 4 columns are safe, but make it very difficult to recover. Stars are collected if you sandwich them between similar animal blocks either vertically or horizontally. But if you mismatch animal blocks, nothing happens and you're stuck with them on the field. You can also clear away unwanted animal blocks by lining another similar block together, and they'll just disappear without counting any stars. Not only are you able to collect stars via the block sandwich method, but if you manage to start a combo of clears, Kirby will drop bonus stars to count towards your collection, depending on the number of combo clears you get. Even just animal-to-animal clears count towards the combos. And if one of the bonus stars happens to drop and complete another clear, that will further add to more combos. What's also helpful is that if the game sees a horizontal combo waiting to happen, and there's enough stars that'll be dropping, it aims for those gaps for you, so it's trying its best not to be random. On later levels of difficulty, another block makes itself known. The iron block is actually a star block that you have to clear twice. After the first clear, it converts to a standard star block. This can really throw a wrench in your plans, so you have to be very aware. Another special block is the bomb block. When you clear this one, it'll send a blast in both directions horizontally, clearing all animal blocks, collecting any star blocks, and also collecting iron blocks as stars in a single hit. A lifesaver sometimes. Adding to the mayhem, every second block drop will cause the ground to rise up, revealing more animal, star, iron, and bomb blocks. If you get close to the top and the middle columns, the game will activate a panic mode where the music gets frantic, but it'll also slow down how often the ground gets raised. In round clear mode, you're battling against Kirby's nemesis, King DDD, and the goal is to collect a set amount of stars to clear each round. You start on normal mode, which has 8 rounds. Many of these will actually give you a hint where to start and really serves more as a warm-up. Hard, very hard, and super hard modes offer 16 rounds each, and the final insane difficulty mode has a whopping 50 rounds to clear. Each round not only has a preset number of stars to collect, but also preset starting blocks on the field. What's really fun about this is there seems to always be a key area to drop a block that'll immediately start some combos for you, giving you a head start if you can figure it out. One of my favorites is in an insane difficulty round that starts off looking near impossible, but if you hit the right starting drop, all the ensuing combos clears the stage for you as you kick back and watch DDD panic. Can you guess which round that is? If you had a buddy that also owned Star Stacker, you could use the Game Boy Link cable to play Versus mode. It operates similarly to many other puzzle game Versus modes, where you play the game as standard, but if you manage to land combos, you can increase just how much the floor rises on your opponent's field. Whoever tops out first is the loser. Challenge mode is just an endless round where you try to collect as many stars as possible before you top out. You had an option to start on any difficulty mode, but after about 200 stars, the difficulty would increase until you just live in insane for the rest of your star stacking insanity. And finally, there's time attack mode, where you only have 3 minutes to collect as many stars as you possibly can. A simple premise, but one that'll have perfectionists coming back again and again to get that one extra star. Just like any other Kirby game, the early rounds will feel slow and easy, possibly like it's dragging on a bit. But make no mistake, once you get into the real game, it can get flustering and difficult if you don't pay enough attention, but also quite rewarding when you get through a round. When the game starts getting faster, you'll also lose planning time to see which combos you can make on the next drop. The floor raising mechanic makes your planning time even more condensed and important. On later rounds, a single misstep can lead to massive stacks and possibly a game over. It's best not to panic though, as the game at times can really pour on the good luck. With only 3 sandwiching block variants, the field could get filled with massive combo potential that you very likely will stumble into. I often found that I accidentally misplaced a block and messed up my combo plan, only to have another combo I didn't even see play out in front of me. It's also important to understand just how important combos are in this game, not only for star collecting, but as the combo animation plays out, it gives you a breather and the ability to plan for longer. Every extra second counts if you want to survive or hit top scores. The game is equal parts forgiving as it is punishing, making for a chaotic but fun and balanced time. The gameplay of Kirby Star Stacker gets a 10 out of 10. The game's intro and title screen are quick, but filled with fun little details. Being a late-life Game Boy game, they figured out how to get the most out of the small pixel count nicely. In contrast to that, the menus are all pretty simple, but charming. You won't be spending a lot of time here anyways. Where you spend the bulk of your time is in the puzzle field. Every block is designed so uniquely from each other that it's very easy to tell what's what, which is especially important during the more difficult parts of the game. The animal blocks are probably the most detail-heavy ones, but it really helps that they're designed in a way that takes full advantage of the shading of the Game Boy. With very little time to determine drawings, the fact that Rick is mainly white, Kine is gray, and Ku is dark gray really help with quick pre-planning your next move. The field background is a standard set of stars in both challenge and time attack modes, but the round clear modes offer some unique Kirby game-like simple environments. And the line work is so light that it's hardly a distraction, but you can still see the details. Meanwhile, as most of the action is going on the left 2/3 of the screen, the right 1/3 of the screen houses some clear details and charming animations. Kirby keeps moving around at the bottom and makes the power attack move when sending out bonus stars, while King DDD laughs away at your struggle. This area also houses your star count and time attack counter as well, all clean and detailed. The graphics of Kirby Star Stacker gets a 9 out of 10. All the music in this game are very Kirby-esque, which makes sense since the composer was also the lead composer on Kirby's Adventure, Kirby's Dream Land 2, and Kirby's Dream Course. Any of these tracks could be inserted into a mainline Kirby game and just fit perfectly. There's not much different I can say about each track individually, but what I can say about them as a whole is that they're perfectly poppy, charming, and energetic to keep playing in the background as you're focusing on star stacking, without it getting distracting or repetitive. Many sound effects also make a comeback from prior Kirby games. One you'll hear often is the Warp Star collision sound as you collect stars. And you're gonna get a good kick out of the multiple returning sound effects that they used when Kirby produces bonus stars. With each combo level's build-up, there's at least 5 returning and satisfying sounds. And of course, they had to make some new ones that were puzzle game specific, the most satisfying one being the clearing sound effect. It had an otherworldly appeal to it audibly, but the association with the star clearing is also a major positive factor. One unfortunate aspect of the audio though, is that when the music and multiple sound effects layered on top of each other, they would cut out and fade in a very rough manner. I'm not sure if that was intentional, but we have seen other Game Boy games pull it off with more, so it's a bit of a head scratcher. The music and sound of Kirby Star Stacker gets a 9 out of 10. The number of hours I put into this game are near impossible to count. Anytime I was taken out of the house, the Game Boy and Kirby Star Stacker would always be with me. Whether I was playing on the couch as my mother was visiting her friends, or I was waiting in the car in the supermarket parking lot, this was a major time suck for me back in '97. Even at home, I was firing this bad boy up and killing off packs of AA batteries. The gameplay was very engrossing and rewarding. It was a game that had the right amount of ease and challenge to keep me hooked, and the longer I played, the better and better my scores got. This was a game that really made me develop tenacity to accomplish gaming goals. The nostalgia hit gets a 10 out of 10. By 1997, Kirby was already a big franchise for Nintendo, but there was still a need to fill a gap while mainline titles were being worked on. Thus, we got Kirby Star Stacker, but this game ended up doing more than just serve as a mere filler title. What came of it was an original puzzler game that played familiar, but also different enough to not be seen as a copycat or overly derivative. Coupled with the charm of Kirby's visuals and audio, Kirby Star Stacker is an extremely solid and classic puzzle game that's sure to hook you in for a long time.